Good afternoon, and welcome to Greg Ferrera's Real Estate Rescue. Thanks for tuning in today to KIDO Talk Radio, 580 AM and 107.5 FM. I'm your host, Greg Ferrera, a local real estate agent with over 25 years experience. I work over at Good Vibes Real Estate, which is locally owned and operated right here in Boise and serving the entire Treasure Valley from Mountain Home to Jordan Valley and everywhere in between. Now, I'd like to introduce my amazing co-host, Mr. Clint Walker of Summit Funding, located right here in Meridian and serving a large portion of the western United States. Clint has over 20 years experience in the lending industry and is doing some amazing feats of finance for many folks here in the Treasure Valley. Clint, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Greg.
How was that?
Well, feats.
Feats, amazing
I like
feats.
It.
Yeah.
Feats of
You're
finance.
Doing it's impressive.
Feats of finance.
I'm amazed at what's happening.
Feats of finance.
Yeah, that's F-E-A-T-S, I think.
Feats of finance.
Yes.
Impressive. I'm doing that without even looking.
That's a tagline.
Feats of finance.
I like it.
We're on.
Now, folks, Clint's with us. If you are just new to the show, Real Estate Rescue is one of the Treasure Valley's top resources for up-to-date, real-time real estate sales information, statistics, and current trends. You also get great tips on home maintenance, remodeling, and updating, as well as some creative financing options from Clint and his team. Folks, Clint and I are here to provide you with accurate, up-to-date information, resources, and assistance in all areas of real estate and finance. We want to put our extensive experience to work for you, the great people of Idaho. And Clint, before I mention our amazing sponsors at Pro Reload Group,
yes,
I just wanted to emphasize that the experience in finance and real estate make a huge difference.
Massive difference.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
It is amazing. I wanted to give you kudos to that.
Well, thank you.
Feat. I like that.
Feats of finance.
Yes. Impressive.
Yes.
That'll be the word for the day.
Structure, too.
Yep.
How to structure it right.
Yep, that's exactly right. Put it together. Create something that didn't exist before.
That's right.
I'm impressed. That's cool. Hey, for those of you getting ready to move, or maybe needing some temporary storage, or you've gotten caught in a delay, Clint, new construction doesn't have any delays today, do they?
Not today.
Uh-oh. And you might need some help, whether you're just here in the Valley, coming in or going out. Our folks, friends, and supporters and great sponsors at Pro Reload Group are here to serve you. Again, as I said, whether you're just right here in the Treasure Valley or somewhere across the amazing country, Pro Reload Group is ready to serve you. I encourage you to go to our great website, realestaterescueidaho.com. Scroll down. You can fill out a little form. Tell them you want to talk to the folks at the moving company. We'll get somebody in touch with you, and there is also a tab there. You can click on that. We'll take you directly to them. Now, you can reach Clint or I on email if you prefer. We have an email address. It's greg@realestaterescueidaho.com. Clint will get that if you're looking for him. It's Greg, G-R-E-G, @realestaterescueidaho.com. You can give us a call at 208-559-0590. A little bit slower. 208-559-0590. We always enjoy your calls. Thanks for taking time to tune in and join us today. We have a very exciting guest. This show will go down in history today, Clint.
Absolutely.
It is going to be awesome.
Yes.
But we better get to the real estate side of this before we have our amazing surprise guest.
Better get on that, right?
Because he's going to be like the rodeo.
Yeah.
Only better.
Better than the rodeo.
So, Clint, talk to us a little bit here about maybe what's happening. We want to welcome everybody to the show.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
We always say whether you're at home, working in the garage, at the shop, I joke, say taking a nap, keep one ear open, driving in your car, or you're on your lunch break.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us today. We're going to do everything we can to make this fun, exciting, educational, informational, and enjoyable.
Stay tuned.
Yep, that's right.
Turn it
It's
up.
coming. Yep. Tune it in, turn it up, and rip the knob off.
Rip the knob
That's
off.
the
Here
one.
it comes,
Yeah,
right?
you
All
got
right,
me.
let's do this.
All right, Clint, what's happening with our money?
You know, money is still here. It's still cheap.
Are interest rates like
Interest
1 or
rates are
2%?
great.
Or what are they doing?
Well, you know, you just never know what they're going to do. They're up and down all the time, but they're still right there at the threes, and sometimes dropping below the threes, the 2.875 even.
Wow, still.
Yes, they're just going back and forth up to 3 1/4, 2. I mean, they're just bouncing all over. But I mean, you can't be mad about rates being so good.
So I need to emphasize, as you always say to me, each case, each person's situation is different.
That's right.
So we can't just quote a certain rate or a program.
There's rates based on credit scores being from mid sixes to upper sixes to 7 to 720 to 740. So there's different scenarios based on where you fit and what you're trying to do and what your loan to value is and how much you're going to put down, how much you're not going to put down, who's going to help you.
So, folks, as we're getting rolling here, we always say have a pen, pencil, crayon, or something to write with. You just never know if we're going to come up with something amazing, a phone number, an email, something you want to write down, name of a company.
That's right.
So have something to scribble with. That'll always help. And we'll try to slow down with our numbers.
Unless you're driving.
Yeah. Just use that amazing memory. If you're driving, that's right, Clint. Yeah, okay.
Pay attention to your surroundings.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't want anybody crashing.
That's right. Nope.
So let's go back, Clint, to some of the opportunities. I know I'm excited about the bridge loan, but I don't want to miss that because the market's been really tricky.
Yes, it has.
With so few homes available and the competition going on. Mm-hmm. But as I hope we'll get a chance to talk about a little bit later in the show, the gold rush is on. It's impressive.
It is, isn't it?
Watching the values.
Yep. Values are climbing.
So folks have equity they've never had.
Absolutely.
Before.
They have equity.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the bridge loan for just a minute?
Bridge loan, using your equity that you currently have in your home, not wanting to write an offer on a new home that is contingent upon the sale of your home. You want to use some of your equity that's in your home. Say it's $50,000 to $100,000 that you want to use of your equity on the purchase of the new home. That possibility is there. We're doing it right now. So if you have equity in your home and you're wanting to make another offer and you just don't want it to be contingent, and you know how that goes.
Yep.
You can explain contingencies and how that works, but you want to be able to use your equity. That possibility is there.
So I want to make sure we simplify things. You and I were talking during the week, and sometimes we go fast. We're doing this 24/7,
right?
18/7, whatever the number is.
Yep. We can speed it up.
Yeah. Well, Tammy wants us to slow us down a little, so I want to make sure.
She says slow down. She does tell me
18 hours a day. So anyway, folks, what I'm sharing is we do this all the time, and sometimes we take some terms for granted. So the bridge loan is a really exciting opportunity. They brought back to life some of us who did this business in the 90s when we used to use horses to get to work, and there wasn't the internet, and the phone went, what, Clint? What that noise the phone makes? Yeah, phones did that, and they were on a cord.
On a cord.
So back in those days, we used the bridge loan. So what the bridge loan does is it bridges the gap for you having to put your home on the market or write an offer contingent to selling your home. Folks, this becomes critical because this bridge loan will now allow you to make an offer that is not contingent, allowing the seller to feel comfortable with your offer, not worrying about you selling your home. It takes that away. So this is a big deal. Mm-hmm. Clint, thanks for putting this in play.
Absolutely.
Yeah, super cool. Closing times, still pretty good for
really
folks?
Good. Yeah, closing times are great. Appraisers are moving quite a bit faster. That's moving. Another option. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So manufactured home.
Okay.
One-time close.
So talk to us about that.
Based on an FHA loan. How about that?
Is that new construction or just a...
Yeah, new.
So if they bring one in,
new
set it up?
manufactured home, then the new construction side of it will bring that in, set it up, and get you the end loan.
So house from the manufacturer, land, the whole thing. One fell swoop.
One swoop. Right there. Yep.
That's a big deal.
It is. So one swoop brings it in, all of it's done.
Okay, and that's for land purchase. A lot of that's been going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Let me go back to the refinance world. We got a couple minutes here. So Clint, if I'm, I've been waiting. I've been listening to you guys. Last fall you were talking to me about interest rates and they were going down, and you were talking about how cool all this was and all the refinance going on. I kind of waited. I was a little scared. Was been watching the market.
Sure, absolutely.
And now I got people telling me, I don't know how much longer this is going to last, and we don't.
Nope.
So if I'm sitting there with a 4, 4.5, 5, 5.25 interest rate, Clint, is it worth refinancing today?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And plus, what are you trying to do? Do you have some debt that you need to pay off as well? Recapture some of your equity by paying off some of your debt? I mean, those are some things. What do you need to pay for? Do you need to build a shop? Do you need to, it's expensive to do those things. Do you need to pay off some high-interest credit cards? Do you need to pay off some high-interest loans, possibly? Did a student loan that you didn't know about come up and now it's sitting there, you're not sure how long it's going to take you to pay it off? Use the equity from your home. that is there. You have a tax write-off from the equity from your home, right? From the interest.
Yep, absolutely.
So you have that opportunity to use that money. Your home's got the equity in it now. I wouldn't hesitate to go ahead and take care of all of your debt. Come up with a whole new plan that says, you know what, I'm going to use this, pay off my debt, and I'm not going to get in debt anymore. I'm going to continue to increase my retirement. I'm going to, you know what I mean, get on a plan.
You know, something I get super excited about, some of our listeners, folks, they're refinancing your house, paying off your car loans.
Yeah.
And normally cars go down in value. I know right now there's a shortage. Some of them are going up.
They're going up in value, some of them.
That's
Yeah,
not normal.
crazy,
but you could pay your car loan off and lower your house payment. So if you have two car loans at, let's say, $350 a piece, there's $700 a month going out the house, and they can lower your house payment. I don't even know. Let's say it's only $150. So I still have $850 a month. We just refinanced. Now we have that in our hot little hand that we wouldn't have had before.
That's right. And that's where you come up with a plan for retirement. What can I do to put money away, right?
So I just didn't want to forget that, Clint. I get excited. I watched you do that with paying off the cars, and I just thought that was awesome. I'm not just lowering your payment. You can actually be creative. Feats of finance. Wow, maybe I should write a book. How cool is that? Folks, I tell you, we're going to have to get to another break. Doggone it. This is our first one. We have an amazing guest. The show is going to blast off here right after our break. So stay with us. We need to take a quick commercial break. You're listening to Greg Ferrera's Our Real Estate Rescue on KIDO Talk Radio, 580 AM, 107.5 FM. Clint and I hope you're enjoying the show. Don't forget those refinance opportunities. Stay with us. We got a great, exciting guest. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to Greg Ferrera's Our Real Estate Rescue on KIDO Talk Radio. That's 580 AM and 107.5 FM. I'm your host, Greg Ferrera with Good Vibes Real Estate, along with my amazing co-host, Mr. Clint Walker. Not the actor, but he is doing feats of finance and miracles every single day. He and his creative solutions team at Summit Funding are joining me as my co-host. Clint, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you, Greg.
Clint, I just am so excited. Our next guest has been on the news, the national news, the local news, Fox News, and all the other news. He's on a mission to make the Treasure Valley and our country safer. He has a history that if I even started saying all the amazing things he's done, the show would be over. So I want to get him here. Well, folks,
let's get it out there then.
Let's make it happen.
Absolutely.
We have the incredible and amazing, making things happen, Sheriff Donahue from Canyon County. Sheriff, it's an honor. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much, Greg. Clint, thank you for having me once again. Appreciate it.
So, Sheriff, the valley's growing. We're aware of that. And we know that folks are coming in, the good ones and maybe the not so good ones. And as I have my law enforcement background, and here at Real Estate Rescue, we support our Treasure Valley law enforcement family. And we've made a spot for you, sir, here every month, whenever you need it, from now until, I don't know, whenever, into perpetuity. You don't want to join us and play anymore. And we thought we'd have you on to kind of share what's going on, give us an update. You know, you've been on the national news, and we know that you're doing some traveling around this country on a mission to make things safer.
Well, thanks, Greg. It's tumultuous. That's probably the best term to use right now today. What's going on here locally is really directly reflected to what's happening in our border, our southern border, along our southern border states. And quite frankly, we're seeing levels of illegal narcotics here in the Treasure Valley that are unprecedented. We're seeing amounts that are unprecedented supply. We're seeing purity that's unprecedented. We're seeing unprecedented amounts of fentanyl being seized and overdoses throughout the valley. All of that comes from the southern border. People can argue that all day long. We can back that up with fact, not fiction, right? This is where it comes from. The Mexican cartels own this. They are extremely good at what they do. They've had decades and decades to build this process, and now with the situation at the border, which is beyond deplorable, it's way beyond crisis at this point. As you mentioned, I travel. I'm headed there next week, following the National Sheriff's Conference, which we're holding in Phoenix, which I'm a part of with the board of directors. directors. And so the fact is, whatever happens at that border is happening here in Idaho. It's happening right here in the Treasure Valley. We've known that for years. I've spoke about that nationally for years, as many of my other colleagues have that are in this battle with me, like our southern border sheriffs, Mark Daniels and others from right out down on the Arizona border. And we all sit on border security committee for the national sheriffs. And we talk about this, and we used to be allowed to talk at the White House about this. We're not allowed to do that anymore.
Well, Sheriff, how does it affect us then from the border all the way to here? What is that?
Absolutely. First of all, you've got the extreme amount of criminal activity. These are criminal drug trafficking organizations. Criminal. This is
enterprises.
Enterprises.
Yeah,
right?
organized.
Very, very organized crime. And so when you bring those types of that criminality into our valley, the Treasure Valley, think about not just the criminality and the judicial system that's affected. Think about your social services that are connected to that, welfare, hospital, the medical profession, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a trickle-down effect. And so people that are out of work, they're out of work because of opiate dependency, because of methamphetamine dependency. You have loss of man hours at work. Well, loss of man hours at work for an employer or employee directly affects their ability to pay for housing, pay for food, pay for services that they require. From our perspective, that affects our bottom line as we try to fund property tax dollars that we rely on through the Justice Fund. That's how we provide public safety in this valley, is property tax money. Well, if they're not able to do that, we're shortened on this. And of course, everyone wants property tax relief. And of course, I really enjoyed the first segment of the show when you're talking about the bridge loan, stuff like that. But it directly affects, because this criminality has an effect on everything we do out there. So if people are suffering, if they're getting addicted to dope, drugs, I should say, like methamphetamine, heroin, fentanyl, immediately going to affect your medical profession, is going to affect your judicial system. We're overwhelmed in the judicial system, right? Jails, courts, all of that. And so people think, well, we just got a crisis at the border. They're not staying at the border. They're getting through the border, and they're coming to a neighborhood like yours, right? Like mine. And they've been doing that for a long time. We're just at the highest level that we've ever seen in our history, in our lifetime. It's never happened like this. And so this is dangerous stuff, because these people, and if I say, Greg and Clint, first we should clarify, there's a lot of great people from Mexico and the other 144 countries that are coming through that border right now. They want a better life. No one can blame them for that, but there needs to be a process, right? So I'm going to kind of get off my political pundit right there. But the fact is, you said it, Greg, the criminal elements follows commercial growth or economic growth. So you can't have the good and not have any bad. You're going to have bad. But it's exponentially amplified by the bad that we're getting, because these are people who are terrorist countries that are coming across that border, who are known terrorist countries to the United States, danger to the United States. And then, of course, the cartels have people in every community, in every county, every state in the United States, and they operate, they do distribution, and they build a base of clientele through opiate addiction, through methamphetamine addiction, heroin, and now, of course, the most dangerous drug out there, fentanyl. And in fact, I've had 4 deputies in the last 2 months be exposed in my jail by fentanyl coming into the facility. All 4 were taken to the hospital. Thankfully, they survived.
Sheriff, we got a couple minutes. I want to ask you to stay after the break.
Absolutely.
But as we're all excited, this is very interesting. And folks, thanks for joining us today. Don't go away. Rodeo's continuing. Sheriff, can you talk about fentanyl for just a minute? What does it come in fashion? Does it come in a bottle? Does it look like
it comes in
Pepsi?
It comes in a clandestine counterfeit pill. Looks like just a prescription drug, like that you would get for painkiller, right?
Really?
That's what it comes, and it's stamped. It's stamped, built by clandestine labs in Southeast Asia, in China, and Mexico, and Colombia. And the cartels run this. And, of course, their allies are in Southeast Asia and China, which are not allies to us. They're enemies to us. And so that's how it comes across. You're talking tons of pills, tons, not hundreds of pills. Yeah. And so people right now on the streets, according to our DEA analysis, Drug Enforcement Agency analysis, my latest numbers tell us that 1 in every 4 pills is a lethal dose. 1 in every 4 pills. So if you've got
individual pill,
individual pill, 1 in every 4 is a lethal dose. So when you've got a high schooler out there who's going to do drugs instead of drinking or whatever, it's a little bit more trendy these days. He's got a 1 in 4 chance of being killed by taking 1 pill.
That's pretty heavy, Clint.
That's what's on the street today.
Wow. And we're not aware of that, Sheriff.
No, people aren't. They're not waking up to the fact that they're out there. They're affecting your kids
Yep.
and your people, our citizens, and they're also not aware of where it's coming from. And those that are aware, I'm mad about it because it puts our citizens at risks. And you mentioned, I've been on the national news because my nephew was killed about a few short weeks ago by an illegal alien who was in this country illegally.
We are very sorry for you.
And I appreciate that. It's a terrible tragedy for the family. Shouldn't have happened.
No.
But it is happening. It's not just happening to my family. It's happening to many families across this country, and it's coming from that position down there.
Wow.
Will you stay with us, Sheriff?
Absolutely.
Folks, we got more to come. We need to take a quick break. Sheriff Donahue is with us. Thank you for taking time, sir. Clint, stick with us here. It's going to get better. We're going to talk about what's happening here in Idaho and how we might be able to make ourselves a little safer and be aware. So stand by, folks. We need to take a quick commercial break. You're listening to Greg Ferrera's A Real Estate Rescue on KIDO Talk Radio, 580 AM and 107.5 FM. Don't go away. We got more of the Sheriff to come. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to Greg Ferrera's A Real Estate Rescue on KIDO Talk Radio, 580 AM and 107.5 on your FM dial. I'm your host, Greg Ferrera with Good Vibes Real Estate, along with my amazing co-host, Mr. Clint Walker and his Creative Solutions team at Summit Funding. Clint, let's remind them we are here for you, the listeners, and the folks of Treasure Valley, Idaho.
Yes, we are.
Welcome back.
With our, what was it called? Feats
of Finance. We're going to hang on to that one.
You know what? I like it. It's catchy.
Before we get to our amazing guest, Sheriff Donahue, I don't want to forget our folks, if you're caught up and you need to get moved.
Yep.
Those folks at Pro Relo Group are here to serve you. From one end of the valley to the other, locally and nationally.
Rick and
Give
Rick.
them a holler. The Rick and Rick Show,
There it is.
as we always say. You can reach them on our website, realestaterescueidaho.com, and they do have a number, 208-314-7997. Again, 208-314-7997. And for those of you still with us, before we bring the sheriff back, I did want to get you a number you can call Clint directly for that free money that's out there floating around, or maybe put that bridge loan together. That number would be, pen, pencil, crayon, get ready, 208-870-4279. One more time, 208-870-4279. You can text or call directly, whatever works. Clint will do a great job. Give him a call. You can reach me if you want at 208-559-0590. 208-559-0590. Let's get back to our amazing guest and a topic that is on fire.
Yes, it is.
So, Sheriff, as we bring you back, I'm here in Idaho. Lots of people are moving in, as we know, and they have some ideas about what they're getting when they get here, correct?
Absolutely.
They're selling out where they came from, and they're moving to Idaho for a bunch of reasons.
Right.
And we take the whole show. Listen to Kevin Miller's show every morning from 6 to 10, Monday through Friday, the Kevin Miller Show, and he'll tell you why they're moving here. So today, I want you to help us connect the dots, Sheriff. I'm here in Idaho, Meridian, Nampa, Cuna, Star, way out in Middleton, where Clint
middle of
lives out there,
nowhere.
middle of nowhere. Haha. Why are we concerned about what's happening at the border, Sheriff? Can you connect the dots for us?
Absolutely.
This is kind of scary.
Well, and the fact is, you said it. People are living here because there's quality of life, the aesthetic value, etc. They want to raise their children in a good place, in good communities, good schools, etc. And they're leaving places that aren't that way, right? And they're leaving places because of criminality. And public safety is not there, or is not like it used to be there. And so that's why they're moving here to Idaho. But the problem is what happens on the border happens in every single state and every single community in the nation. A good friend of mine wrote a book here not too long ago. Howard Buffett wrote the book, Our 50-State Border Crisis. It's a 50-state border crisis. We're all in this together. And when people think that you can take a partisan view this way or that way, throw that crap out the window. Because right now, you're all in this together. And so everyone in the Treasure Valley, whether it doesn't matter really what party affiliation you belong to, you're all going to be affected. Yeah. And you're being affected by the criminality that the cartels and that border crisis brings with it. And we're not talking about just the victimization here in Idaho, in the Treasure Valley, which we have plenty of, human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, children, right? We're talking children. Think of the victimization that happens at the border by those coyotes and the cartels against women. Above all things, and
tragic,
tragic. Then people being put into human trafficking. That happens right here in the Treasure Valley. Well, it can be run from Mexico. It can be run by these operatives that are overseeing it all. So it affects you absolutely every day of your lives, every day of your children's lives. And to think otherwise, to think that we don't have a problem because we're shut off from the border, we're 1,200 miles north. I've done film that showed how that dope's transported here, how it goes into your schools, how it affects the economy here, how it affects the culture. And if people think that's not happening, they've got their heads in their sounds and in the sand. And I'm telling you, if you don't think it, you're an idiot to believe that this is not happening to you. This is real. It's in your face, and we're trying to hold the line. Law enforcement is the first and last line of defense on this deal, in addition to our wonderful military. But when it comes down to enforcing laws, it's law enforcement. And I'm telling you, we're thin. We have a thin group out there because people are leaving law enforcement because, first of all, the pay's terrible, right? Yep. But we do it because we love it. We're called to the service by God. But at the same time, we've got to make a living. And when you have this echo out there that we're all bad, we're not all bad. We have some bad apples. We need to root them out. But the fact is, they're the only thing standing between you and chaos right now. Yep. Amen. And I'm telling you, we're in a war. We're not in a battle anymore. We're in a war because the cartels are taking over land along our southern border. They're taking sovereign land of the United States, and we're moving our citizens out of that. They are held captive in terms of their own properties. They can't go outdoors. They can't go across their ranches, etc. So to think that's not going to happen here is ludicrous. And people need to get in the game. They need to get in the fight, and they need to tell the politicians to quit squabbling and to get on the same track and defeat this enemy.
Sheriff, it'd be fantastic to have you back on after you go down there.
Absolutely. I'd be glad to. Yeah. Yep. I'm headed to Phoenix next.
Plug that in.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Feats of finance.
Well, absolutely plug it in to see why we're being affected.
Wow. Yep. So, Sheriff, what can we do? What can we, the people here of Idaho, we care. We do. Is a passionate group here.
Individually, right?
Oh, yes.
How do we combat this individually?
To help you guys?
Literally, it's a matter of getting involved nationally and locally, whether you're talking about local legislators, whether you're talking about supporting your local law enforcement, whether you're talking about contacting your United States senators, your United States congressmen. That's where it all starts, right? We've got to get this track back on together, not separate. And really, Greg, it's about whether we're talking, which I've been on your show before, talking about domestic violence. Yep. We got to talk about it. It's not going to go away. You can't put the blinders on forever and think it's all going to turn out good. Not everybody's going to get a ribbon. I can guarantee you, they're not going to get a ribbon. They're going to get a death certificate.
Man up.
Right? So you got to start talking about it. You got to talk about it on this show. You got to talk about it over the dinner table. You got to talk to it about your kids, about the safety when they go to town, when they get in the car, when some idiot approaches them with some look like oxycodone pills and it's fentanyl. 1 in 4 chance of dying right then when you're doing experimental drugs. 1 in 4. Right now on the streets in the Treasure Valley. Think of that number. So we got to talk about it. It's an issue.
Is this not on the news?
I don't see it covered on the news. I watched the news last night. I didn't see anything about any of it. It's like, just like my nephew, it wasn't even covered here outside of Kevin Miller's show. How is that not covered here? You have a tremendous wreck on Highway 55 and State Street. A semi T-bones a guy, a drunk, T-bones a 22-year-old, ejects him out of a pickup truck, kills him, 70 miles an hour, and you're drunk, and you're an illegal alien, and you don't have a license, and you're driving a semi in our country, and nobody covered that except Fox News.
Yep.
Just Fox News.
Just Fox News.
Nobody else wants to talk about it.
Nobody's talked to me about it.
Wow.
And I'm the spokesperson for the family and for the National Sheriff's Association.
Wow.
So is there anything on a day-to-day basis, Sheriff, as we're out in the community, especially summer, events coming, rodeos, a stampede, God Country, and a ton of other things. We're down on the river, and people are out and about. It's beautiful right now. Well, the weekend is just a 10. We're going to have this for several weeks to come. Is there things that we can see out there, Sheriff? I'm sure you're working with all the local law enforcement people. They're all on the same page in the Treasure Valley. Is that fair?
Absolutely they are. And they are under siege, so to speak, right? When you see something, Greg, say something. When you see something, say something. When you see something looks odd or an activity that just doesn't look right, call 911.
Okay.
Call the non-emergency numbers of all your local law enforcement agencies. That's what we get paid to do. We are going to go talk to those folks. We are going to investigate. We are going to address that potential threat. If there's nothing there, we're going to say have a nice day, and we'll move on to the next potential threat. But don't not say something, right? Yeah. If your kids are out there and they see somebody, that strange car in the neighborhood, give us a call. We'll go identify that person. That is legal. We will do a stop and say, hey, just want to see if everybody's okay here, and who are you and what are you doing here? And if you think that's wrong, sorry, move to another valley, because that's not wrong.
I like that.
I was just thinking, Sheriff, one of the last stands, if you will, Idaho being the amazing place that it is, full of people who still believe in liberty and freedom and pursuit of happiness and fairness and treating each other with respect.
Yes.
And that there are predators amongst us, and it is a scary thing. So you're saying if we're out and about and we see something that doesn't feel right, 911, don't just look the other way.
Absolutely.
Be aware that things are changing.
Take care of your citizens. Take care of each other. Honest to God, God doesn't want us to not do that. And this is my opinion. Sheriff Donahue speaking. But the fact is, if you, just by saying something, when you're looking at that doesn't look right, you go to Walmart, Costco, and it's like, oh, that just doesn't seem right. And you call, you may have just saved tragedy from occurring to a family. Tomorrow could be your family.
You never know.
You'd hope somebody call and intervene.
Absolutely.
And save your children or your wife or your grandmother or whatever that case may be. Because you know what? You really don't deserve it.
It only takes one.
And that's right.
Yep. Sheriff, we're going to get to another quick break. Would you hang out with us?
Absolutely.
One more segment. Clint,
love it.
You're with us. Folks,
I'm here.
Hope you're enjoying the show today. We're having some fun. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go away. This is Greg Ferrera is our real estate rescue on KIDO Talk Radio, 580 AM and 107.5 FM. We hope you're enjoying the show, learning a little bit. We took a little curve to public safety, your safety, and how it impacts the Treasure Valley and our home values and what's going on here. Don't go away. Sheriff's been kind enough to join us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You are tuned in to KIDO Talk Radio, 580 AM and 107.5 FM, and you're listening to Greg Ferrera's A Real Estate Rescue. I'm your host, Greg Ferrera with Good Vibes Real Estate, along with my co-host, Mr. Clint Walker, and his Creative Solutions team at Summit Funding. Clint.
Greg.
Rodeo.
It is, isn't it?
What a great show.
I know, it's awesome.
Sheriff Donahue is amazing, passionate, driven,
telling
focused,
it like it is,
on a mission.
Telling people, don't put your head in the sand.
He agreed to come back after he goes down to the border.
I love that idea.
I'm looking forward to having him back.
Let's find out what happened and what's really going on in our communities so that we become the Idaho that everybody's moving to, the Idaho that I remember as a kid growing up, that you never had to lock your door.
Exactly
everybody was friends. Everybody was friendly. We all talked and had a great time. That was the Idaho I remember.
So, Clint, we were talking at the break. So for everybody out there listening, what does this have to do with real estate? Well, folks, I want to connect the dots here. The reason that our prices are out of control is because folks are coming in from, I can say this, California, Washington, Oregon, Texas, and then Colorado, and then you all see the plates. They're coming in here to escape where they're from. And in a lot of cases where they're from, Sheriff, if I'm wrong, there's some, I'll say, lawlessness or some super liberal laws. And some folks are saying, wait a minute, we like how they run things in Idaho. We want to move there. So we're connecting the dots, folks, but in some cases here, as you're hearing, some of this potentially is coming here. And not even potentially, it's coming here. So forgive me, Sheriff. I'm not trying to soften this up too much. I shouldn't be. I spent 10 years in the law enforcement world. I get it. I understand. I'm passionate. And I'm excited to have you here. So we have a few minutes. Sheriff, if you can make it kind of close us up here a little bit. You're on a mission. We want to have you back.
I appreciate it. You nailed it. I mean, this is a conservative state, always has been, but we can lose that.
Yep.
We can lose that in a heartbeat if we're not paying attention. And, of course, we can't just pay attention here. We have to be paying attention to what happens elsewhere, because what happens elsewhere directly affects us here in Idaho, especially the Treasure Valley, because we're a very highly populated part of our state.
Yep.
And so we have to be in the game, and we have to be supportive, again, of the efforts that are being taken by law enforcement to address these threats, because these threats are directly related to the sanctity of our families and our communities. And so I think it's incredible. I think I've really enjoyed my time on your show today, because this is a real threat. Drugs are at the highest. illegal narcotics, I should say, at the highest levels we've ever seen, both in supply and in demand. And so that just means there's more and more people being affected directly and being getting addicted to these things, and that addiction lasts forever. It lasts your lifetime. These people are being taken out of the workforce, which affects your economy. The housing market, I keep going back to it. When people are doing drugs and they're not working, or they're hospitalized, or they're facing mental illness because of the drug use, you can't explain to me that does not affect the housing market that in some way, whether it's from the financial aspect or not, right?
Yep.
And so we want everybody to have a house. I tell that for my troops. I mean, my people, I want them all to be able to buy a house. We love listening to your show. I want my people to take advantage of those opportunities because they deserve to have their own houses. But this is things that they face, and it will affect the economy. I've always said that you can't have growth without criminality. There's no culture in history that anyone can point to that doesn't say with growth comes criminality. So you have to be prepared to address that criminality with infrastructure, with innovative ideas, strategic plans to address that, to protect the investment that these folks are making in their housing market. They're putting down roots here, right? No matter where they're coming from or those that already live here, they're establishing or strengthening the roots they've already got. That can be taken away from in a heartbeat if we don't address the criminality that is going to be victimizing those same groups of people. That's how I would look at it, Craig.
Clint, we got to be careful we don't create Mayberry and not pay attention and stay vigilant. So if you have children in your schools and they're out and about, and please pay attention. Vigilance is probably more critical than it's ever been. I know we talk about driving with the phones and all the distractions, more dangerous today than ever.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
Sheriff, we want to say thanks for taking time.
Thank you.
You're a busy man, and we look forward to you come back after the border.
I'll be back in a few short weeks.
Please reach out to us.
Absolutely. Look forward to it.
God bless you, sir, and have a safe trip.
God bless you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being with us.
Yep.
Folks, let's take a minute here, Clint. That's a powerful, powerful show there. Wow.
Powerful message.
Yep.
That we teach not only ourselves as adults, but our children as well. Because this affects not only our children, it affects our grandchildren and those to come. People are moving here because they want their kids and grandkids to have a better life. That's 100%. The whole reason, right?
Yep.
So if this is truly affecting us coming all the way from the border to here, meaning that they're not just staying on the border, is what he's saying. They're coming all the way up here. It's affecting us right now.
Yep.
And all these drugs, everything coming in, I think it's important that we make sure that our listeners and that ourselves in our community and what we have control over, which is our sphere of influence, our people that we talk to on a daily basis, no matter how big that is or how small that is, that we teach that we're aware, that we're here to help people to have this life that we keep talking about.
So be proactive. I do want to encourage that.
Right.
Yeah, don't sit back.
Agreed.
A lot of people move here, and I know they just kind of retire and give up, and yeah. No.
Better life. No, be proactive.
Yeah,
let's make sure we all have it.
Get involved. Stay vigilant. We encourage that. How does this go back to houses? Well, the reason that our homes are going up so high is everybody's coming here. And
because of what they've seen.
Yeah, it's amen.
They've heard that this is Idaho. This is what it's about, right? So let's keep Idaho that way.
Yep.
Let's keep Idaho
shocking that we're under attack.
Well, right, but
right from the horse's mouth.
Isn't it great though that right now we're being told and we're now becoming aware of what's happening versus waiting till it's too late. Now we can't do anything about it.
I'm looking forward to having them back.
Right, we can do something about it. I like it.
Folks, Clint and I are here from you, actually all the time. So not just here on the show on Saturdays. We appreciate you joining us. We'll get back to the regular strategies of buying and selling, but we wanted to share this message with Sheriff Donahue and what's going on in our communities, what's happening in the state of Idaho, a little bit different perspective, Clint.
Yep. Strategies. Greg, let's talk about one real quick because I know we have just a couple minutes and we're almost done and we're going to have to hurry. So if I start talking too fast, that means that I'm trying to hurry up. Okay. So what I'm saying is that strategy that you and I have right now, there's strategies in purchasing a home. There are different ways, different scenarios, different ways in order to get the home purchased, to get it financed. If somebody's struggling, they're saying, you know what, I just can't, it's too much, it's too expensive for me, I just can't afford it. there is a strategy. There's ways to make this and to help you in doing so. We have one coming up right now, somebody that was off the market. Now rents have gone up, so now he's back on the market. I mean, there's ways to do this that we can create the right strategy to help him do that.
I'm going to butt in. We will get to stats next week, but I'll tell you there's more homes available.
Yes.
And we're seeing some things go on. So I don't know if it's folks have gone on vacation, school's out, the coronavirus lifted a little bit, so people are out doing things.
Yeah.
So some of the people that are looking for homes are not right now. They're taking a break.
Yeah.
And then we have more homes available. So there's opportunities, folks. Get a hold of us. Real Estate Rescue, Idaho.com. We have a search option there. You can look for homes, click in. We won't stock you unless you want, like Clint says.
Right.
You can give us a holler, but that's the easiest way to reach us. Real Estate Rescue, Idaho.com. You can call Clint directly, 208-870-4279. One more time, 208-870-4279. Also, if you're getting ready to move, our sponsors, friends, and our folks at Pro Reload Group are here to help you, whether it's local or national. 208-314-7997. They have storage if you need it also. 208-314-7997. Clint, we're going to have to say goodbye. Folks, don't forget to join us here next week at noon on Saturday for more great tips and strategies to navigate the real estate market in the Treasure Valley. Till then, be safe out there. Keep an eye on each other. Be kind. And we will see you again or talk with you again next Saturday at noon.